Friends, Romans, and Patriots, lend me your ears and strap on your tinfoil hats, because it is time for the Gay Frog Chat. Gay Frog Chat is a weekly panel discussion where we go chin deep into a different conspiracy. This week, we got a doozy. We got a hum of a doozy. Government instructs vaccine strike force teams on how to clear buildings, violate trespass laws, and flag anti-vaxxers for forced quarantines, as well as come after people, Second Amendment advocates, and it's a whole thing, man. We're going to go over this whole... There's several different stories that I have that lead into that. We're also going to be talking about a situation that happened in Denver in which 3 dudes were in a hotel and got some guns taken from them and all the media that's going on around that, as well as an article going back to the beginning of coronavirus from the Los Angeles Times about what they can expect. And hold on, I got to yell at my kids to not be so loud because they're being really loud right now. One sec. Hey, boys. Jack? Jack!
Yeah.
I'm doing my podcast. Be more quiet, please. All right. He's wearing headphones. He didn't hear.
I could say something, but since it's your son, I'm not going to.
What are you going to say?
Is he one jack off?
Oh. I got $1 from Chili Bean already. How's it going? Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Really do. So, yeah. We've got a community health ambassador outreach door-knocking project that's in the works. They have a now public document published by the government of Lake, Illinois that instructs ambassadors to violate no soliciting restrictions and illegally trespass onto private property, impersonate health department officials and attempt to intimidate building managers into consenting to allow entry to the strike force teams, right? Which that itself is against the law. Lie to the public and falsely claim things about jabs and their safety, withholding potential health hazards, clear buildings in military fashion going door to door, wing by wing, knocking on doors, windows, and intimidating residents of apartment buildings and residential units, recording locations of anti-jabbers in order to feed the information into a government database for further action, most likely forced quarantine and removal, aka medical kidnapping. Yeah, so this is a White House spokesman Jen Psaki announced last week that the Biden regime would activate door-to-door strike force teams to coerce more people into getting the vaccination. Oh shit, we got a super chat. What's up, y'all? What's up, Colostomy Bag? Thanks for the $5, brother.
So yeah, I would rather take lead than take this.
So as someone who's spoken to my doctor,
or another.
I was going to say, so I've actually spoken to a couple doctors about my own health issues and stuff like that, and every single one of them I've talked to has said, "Do not take this; it will kill you."
Well, that's the thing, though, too. Like, for instance, if you had recently had coronavirus, right? You recently had it, then doctors are saying that you probably shouldn't get the V. Because if you do, then like it might have an adverse reaction because you already have the antibodies in your blood, right? But that's not taken into consideration either.
Well, it's not even that. Even if you don't have it, if you haven't had it, you don't need to get it.
So it gives instructions for clearing residential buildings floor by floor while meticulously recording locations of those who refuse vaccines. From the document, after you enter the building, orient yourself so you systematically proceed from floor to floor, covering each wing. Utilize tally sheet to keep count of those interested in getting the vaccine, those who refuse, and those with further questions. This instruction smacks of military or law enforcement building clearing activities, and its purpose seems clear: to canvass the entire building and record the locations of those who refuse the vaccine. The obvious question then becomes, why would the government need a database of the physical locations of people who refuse the vaccines?
Because they're going to force it on us. Plain and simple.
Plain and simple, the answer is for me, my wife is no, 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 no. Yeah, see, like, dude, they're talking about the new Delta variant and stuff like that. We were talking about it before the chat, how it's more deadly and
I heard that the Delta variant...
It ignores if you've had the vaccine or not. It's vaccine immune, and your pets can get it, so you can give it to your dog, and then your dog can give it to your grandma. Like, okay. What's up? I'm sorry.
Now, I heard that the Delta variant wasn't as bad. It was my, like... I guess my my knowledge on that is skewed.
From my understanding, the Delta variant is basically more like a common cold / flu. And there's another one out of, I think it was India or one of the other nations like that, that was supposed to be more like the ones that don't give a crap about vaccines or not.
I mean, they've got a whole litany of letters of the Greek alphabet to go before this is over, so. And they're only on what? Gamma, Delta, Echo, Theta. What's after Delta? Epsilon?
Yeah, I think that's the one out of California already.
Oh, Mark Malone's talking about the Delta is more virulent. Treatment has improved. I'm Mark Malone. We got white sheets. Nothing would happen. I just read all your chats. Mark Malone. Hey, what's up? Never enough. NEA. How's it going? You're muted. Maybe you're away from your computer. All right.
Maybe he just doesn't give a shit about this podcast anymore, and he needs to go to hell.
That's an old-ass picture. Look at all the hair he had.
All right, shut the fuck up. I was on the phone. What?
I didn't know you were on the phone. I was just saying hello, friend. Speak friend and enter. Speak friend and enter.
Speak dick and suck it.
Jesus Christ. Are you on your phone? What's going on?
I am on my phone. Yes, I'm on my phone. I'm not on my computer right now.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. So what do you think about these COVID strike force teams that are employed by the government to go door to door and systematically search apartment buildings and categorize where the non-vaxxed are?
I'm not saying that you should shoot redcoats on your doorstep, but that's all.
I see them now. Why does the sprinkler system smell like gasoline?
So it goes on to say a dangerous precedent that will be used for door-to-door forced quarantines and gun confiscation. What these Lake County documents reveal is a dangerous escalation of government dispatch strike force teams, likely accompanied by armed personnel at some point to intimidate, harass, and illegally coerce people into doing the government's bidding. The strike force teams are taught to impersonate public health officials, lie their way into residential buildings, trespass on a private property, deceive the public about vaccine safety and side effects, and make written recordings of those who refuse to be vaccinated. This is a coercive, dangerous government initiative being run under the color of law authority that essentially seeks to intimidate people into complying with gross violations of their civil rights and human rights. But since the COVID pandemic has established...
Pandemic? Nice.
That's what it said. has established this precedent, governments will readily use this as a template for other campaigns of coercion and intimidation. This will almost certainly include mandatory quarantine efforts where people are literally dragged out of their private residence and swept away to COVID camps, which, as we will see here in a minute, there's actually COVID camps set up in the United States currently. For what purpose? Who knows? Maybe this. All it would take is one more COVID variant emergency, and the local governments across this country will leap at the opportunity to assert more power and deprive citizens of their rights. Almost any new emergency, including those carried out by the government itself, could now be invoked to use the emergency door-to-door visit of citizens powered by government database listings, names, addresses, vaccine status, gun ownership records, for example. A false flag shooting operation can now be easily invoked to demand door-to-door gun confiscation campaigns across the nation, following the same template discussed here. Teams of volunteers can be taught to impersonate law enforcement and demand gun confiscation in the name of public safety, all while violating due process and using the name of public safety, and using tactics of intimidation to coerce and coercion ripped out of Nazi Germany. So, yeah.
Like we've been saying for how many years? Which party is using the Nazi tactics?
So, COVID internment centers already exist in Canada, New Zealand, Australia, and the USA. The Toronto Sun, a mainstream media news outlet in Canada, has already documented the existence of forced quarantine operations. There, you will have to forgive Steve. What the fuck is this? Oh, I don't know what all this is. Hold on. Oh, that's just the line-by-line minutes of a meeting or whatever where they're discussing like what these things are.
So everything you said just makes me want to clean my AR-15.
Analysis of what comes next. Medical kidnappings, COVID death camps, and forced inoculations with deadly spike proteins. What follows here is my own educated analysis of and speculation of what I believe is going on. First, the FDA fraudulently approves one or more COVID vaccines as safe and effective with full regulatory approval. This is likely to happen in September, October of this year, despite... Okay, what is this from? Oh, this is an old one. I don't know. Basically, this goes on to say, like, how they have camps set up in the United States that are for displaced peoples or for... I mean, they're like FEMA camps, right? They've got FEMA camps set up. And they're talking about how they might want to use them and how it would actually make sense of why they had all of these things in the first place. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are we going to go to FEMA camps? Are they going to use them?
I mean, I think they're
Well,
going
they've been talking about the FEMA
They
camps
already
forever,
have
right?
before.
I mean, I'm not going to go to one. I won't be there. I will not be in no camp. I will not be displaced ever. I think when you're talking about taking people in mass groups and putting them in camps, I don't care what purpose it's for. I'm not going there. It's the same thing. I'm not talking about just fictitious things. Look at when they came and wanted to round up everybody, put them in a stadium, and take all their guns away from them. There's no way I would ever do that. I'd stay in my house half flooded before I ever left anything like that. And anyone who tried to make me leave, I would be met with other than tickles. But
It's funny how people just forget history, even as recent as what, 15 years ago?
15 years ago. Yeah.
Like people
People
pretend
are
like this
stupid.
is... Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I mean, when I deal with the public a lot, and I feel like the average person that you talk to, like, okay, so think about how dumb the average person is, and then realize that half of them are dumber than that. Just like, boom, mind blown. I forget who said that. I'm dumb. I can't remember. Americans will find itself in a desperate war, with the government waging war against its own people. The only safe place will be rural areas and red states, where free Americans push back against the tyranny. Blue cities will fall into mass, can't talk about that on YouTube, with an estimated loss in the tens of millions. Mass deaths from something or other that happens, God, I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube, caused by...
What?
I can't say half of these things that I'm reading in front of me because I will get kicked off of YouTube for saying them.
What could you possibly be about to say that will get you kicked off YouTube? It doesn't have to do with an election or COVID.
It has to do with COVID. I don't know. By 2025, America is unrecognizable as a nation, and it is once founded to be. Law enforcement will have collapsed across most major cities. Tens of millions of Americans will be from the... We will be living under medical martial law, complete with food rations, biometric vaccine passports, highway vaccine checkpoints, and even rationing water and fuel supplies. You think that's true?
I'd say it's very possible.
An engineered debt collapse will already wiped out most of the middle class, forcing tens of millions into homelessness and destitution. Elections will be suspended. The nation will be vulnerable to land-based attacks from China entering across the U.S. southern border. Before long, America will find itself occupied by communist Chinese troops, perhaps under the guise of running humanitarian food assistance missions, which are really just another excuse to see America overrun and destroyed by its enemies.
See, that's where you lost me. I don't think the people that are really pulling the strings want China to take over the U.S.
I think they want China policy in the U.S. I don't think they want China enforcement, like style enforcement.
Yeah, I mean, and we're talking like deep state fucking, whoever's running things. Like, if we're going to go with the whole like George Soros and these motherfuckers, they don't want China running shit any more than we do. They may want Chinese style, laws and things in place that make it easier for them to take over. But I don't think even they want Chinese boots on the ground in the U.S. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think so. I have a hard time believing that these people that are trying to run the U.S. economy into the ground and change policy to more Marxist policies to make it easier to control people, and the people that are trying to force this whole, divide and conquer narrative so that it's easier for them to take hold. They want to push for the division between everybody in this country and divide us all up into little fucking blocks of, well, I identify as this, therefore I hate you. Those people don't want fucking China or anybody actually fucking coming over here and fucking with us. Like they'll use these tactics, but in the end, if China shows up in the U.S., they're fucked too. Like, then they don't have, they're no longer in control, and they don't want that.
Well, I definitely see like how do you build a society how you want? Well, first you have to break down the old society. You have to implement the Hegelian dialectic, which is problem, reaction, solution. When you engineer the problem itself, you engineer the reaction, you engineer the solution. So you engineer the whole thing, right? So it's dominoes just falling over on dominoes. You set up the dominoes in the first place. You knocked over the first domino. You are the person who set the table. You know what I mean? Like, they're the ones who are engineering things. And the only way to get people to accept the tyranny and the level of oppression and, lack of rights and change that we're going to be forced to accept is by squeezing us first, right? And you squeeze us economically, you squeeze us like in our safety and in our ability to travel, and like trust in other human beings, that kind of thing, to the point where we will go to the government for an answer and accept whatever answer that they give us as long as it takes care of the problem. But the problem is that they're squeezing us in the first place.
But it's the recipe for destruction, right? How you destroy America. Put us in lockdown for 6 months, a year at a time, 10 times. Right? 4 times. Add in civil unrest, add in, all those other things. That's how you destroy a country like ours.
Rob Feeding says, if they go through with this, it's going to be the catalyst for mass amounts of unnecessarily violence that no one wants. I wouldn't say no one. Disease, starvation, violence, and lawlessness will spread across the nation, and many states will be forced to denounce federal tyranny and declare their own sovereign status, likely leading to the breakup of the United States of America and the forming of new regional boundaries, free states versus blue slave states. Jesus Christ. In the slave states run by Democrats, economic collapse and mass death will prevail. In the free states, deaths will be far fewer. The society may continue to function at some level, even though many such states will find themselves in active war footing against the tyrannical federal government now run by communist China.
You know how you take over the United States? It's when fucking Blue and Bubblegum team up on charcoal and fuck them over.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Sorry, that's an inside joke, people. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and if maybe some of the colors would have just got together and not made it all messed up. Stuck with the truce.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is Blue a little hurt because Bubblegum and charcoal done fucked you up the last few times?
Bubblegum and charcoal could go fuck themselves. Let me tell you that right now. The blue is the strongest.
It's the strongest until it's not.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Maybe if Blue wouldn't fucking fall asleep all the time and pay the fuck attention to what's going on, Blue might be able to defend himself a little bit.
Blue tries to meet you on the field of battle, and all of a sudden it just stops.
Why do I feel like I missed a Wednesday chat and now I don't know what's going on anymore?
No, it's because you stopped playing Risk after one game because you got fucking butt hurt that you got fucking annihilated, and you stopped playing. And so you haven't been playing with us.
Well, I've also been working to death the last fucking couple days. Dude, all I did yesterday was sleep. All I did today was sleep, and I'm still fucking like, I just want to sleep. Like, dude, it's been rough. It's been seriously rough.
Fuck work, by the way.
Fuck work, by the way.
Fuck.
The America you once knew is over. There is no going back to normal. History ends here. We must now decide. Now we must decide on what new history we will create together based on our actions from this day forward. If we do not rise up and resist this tyranny, we will be systematically disarmed, injected, and exterminated. I actually think that last sentence is true. Maybe not so much exterminated because there'll still be people, but
Or a way of life.
Our society and way of life, yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Tara dropped in $5. I figured my CPM with E85 was that cost per mile, regular and premium. It's all 14 cents per mile. I think it's figured international for road use tax when price is set. So no matter if you get E85 regular or premium, your cost per mile is the same.
Could be.
Well, that's great.
I do know you get a little bit better gas mileage with higher octane gas. At least you should. I guess it depends on what vehicle you're talking about. So we've got this story. We evaded a pretty serious situation. Denver leaders reassure public is safe after Wazee Street arrests. Right? So this was the story about the 3 dudes in a hotel in Colorado across from Coors Field where they're having the All-Star game right now. 3 dudes in a room. They had, I think it was like 6 long guns and 1,000 rounds of ammo. I don't know if they're like going to the range or going hunting or just, whatever it is, but they've got that many guns in the room. The maid comes up to clean the room when they're not in it or something like that and sees guns in the room, lets her boss know. Boss calls the cops. Cops come to the room. Turns out one of the guys in the room is a restricted person, meaning like he's had a felony or like he's had a domestic violence. I don't know what it is. Like he's one of the people who cannot actually own or possess a gun. And so they took all the guns, and now it's a national story about how they evaded this Las Vegas style shooting that might have happened in Denver, Colorado, if only for the diligence of some cleaning lady who saw something and said something. And please, like everyone, you need to. Oh, I missed a super chat. Create a game, you can create the rules. Quote, society. It's true. If you create the rules, you put yourself at the top. You make sure that the rules keep you on top. That's kind of what we have here. But I think what they're discovering is that the human element is no longer as necessary as it once was. Right? Because back in the day,
automation. Well,
back in the day, how many people were in employment of producing food for the other people? It was like 90% of the population, 80%, something like that. The other 10 to 20% lived in the cities, and they did other things and yada, yada, yada. But most people lived on a farm, and they had their little 10-acre, 20-acre plot, and they farmed their 20 acres and, made enough money to feed the kids and do everything that they needed to do. Now it's like one dude with a bunch of equipment and like a couple of Mexicans has 10,000 acres of land and everyone else is in the cities. It's crazy. So yeah, they don't need all the people that they used to have. And even in manufacturing and producing things, well, now we've got like CNC milling machines that work off of programs. We don't need a skilled technician to do everything. You just need one guy that can like input the program on 20 machines, and it's doing the work of like 50 people from back in the day. Or I don't know. There's a million examples of how technology has made things easier or less labor intensive, let's say. I wouldn't say
technology is a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like at my job, for instance, I can't talk about where that is specifically, but we're now using computer pads, and you're scanning things with your phone and ordering from the table without even talking to me. Like I come up to you and say, hey, I've got some waters coming for you. Order on the phone. Let me know if you have any problems. Peace. Like, it's fucking stupid, dude. But yeah, they're doing that because, well, they made it so that waiters make more money, so it costs the restaurant more money to hire more waiters and have the number of waiters that they used to have to cover an area and have the waiter not be all stressed out from the amount of work that he has to do. So that's out the window. So how do they do it? They got to figure out some other method that allows them to work with the amount of labor that they're currently running. Anywho. And then we've got from the Los Angeles Times, March 2nd, 2020. So this is not a new article. What can the government force people to do in the name of containing the coronavirus? What policy measures are available to stop the spread of a disease in the United States? From nation's borders to thresholds of our homes, public health officials have a range of options for slowing or stopping the spread of an infectious disease. Think of it as layers of defense. Generally speaking, as those measures get closer to home, they sweep in, more people become more controversial. when the virus crops up outside the U.S. border, screening for people as they arrive in airports and ports of entry is a first step. It's rarely controversial and widely thought to calm public jitters. But looking for signs of illness in air travelers, cruise ships passengers, border crossings, and limited value when there are people inside of the country who are showing signs of the illness. What? There was part of this that I wanted to talk about. Hold on. Someone talk for a minute. I got to read.
Penis.
No one.
Penis, penis, penis.
It's so helpful.
Vagina, vagina, vagina.
That's more helpful.
Vagina meets penis. And vagina gets turned on.
Balls.
And vagina salivates.
On the balls.
Which gets penis to stand up straight.
We have now evolved to.
I can't find it. There was some part where they were talking about how California and the federal government are at odds with one another because the federal government wants to shut things down, but California wants to keep it open because the California legislators are like concerned about the citizens and the rights. Because this is before the shutdowns,
Man,
right? This
since
is a
when has California cared about citizens and their rights?
well. This is a article from before the shutdowns happened, from a Los Angeles Times article, right? So they're writing like, "Oh yeah, California's great, and here's why: we're going to protect you from the federal government. We're not going to do anything to impede on your rights if we don't have to, because we're California." And then like they had like the worst lockdowns in the fucking country, and they had like the most draconian shit going on in the country, and like their fucking governors like involved with all these scandals and crazy shit going on with the virus and all this other stuff. I don't know, man. It's funny. It's just funny. That's what I wanted to point out, and I can't find the fucking spot.
Oh, you can't find the spot, huh?
Nope. I can find the G
Damn.
spot, just not that spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those are all the stories that I had to go over. You want to see the view of a GoPro camera on the back of a hawk? It's pretty cool. How would you like to fly like an eagle? Fly like an eagle.
I wouldn't fly like that because I'm not an eagle.
Dude, that's super fucking cool. Devil Dog says, California concerned about citizens' rights. Ha ha ha. That'll be the day. I mean, they certainly sell it like they are. Right? It's like a fucking place where people are fake and good at acting. That definitely spreads to politics in the area. Fucking Cuba's going nuts right now.
What do you mean? More words,
They finally
please.
figured out communism sucks.
Yeah, they're like protesting the government, and there's like riots and shit.
But that's why
The
they
guy-
get water hoses, because they're so starved to death and they don't have any food. So they just get water, they just spray them, they just fly away. And they don't have guns.
Some high quality H2O.
Have high quality H2O there, Cubans. No, but they that's sad. And it's sad to
Yeah.
see countries trying to revolt without guns. Against people with guns. But I don't know.
Jesus Christ, that was loud.
Don't suck and don't give up your right to own weapons.
Mm-hmm.
That's just I there's comes a point where you look at people and I understand that they are in a bad predicament, but you know.
But I was thinking, like, how much, like, if you're starting from nothing right now, like, what would you need? You need a handgun, a couple of magazines, a couple of boxes of ammo, and you're already better than, like, 90% of people.
Yeah.
True story.
And then you throw a rifle on top of that, then you're better than like 98% of people.
Yeah. And then like some food and some extra cash and some skills. We always forget about skills, right? We always forget we don't talk about skills as much as we talk about guns and what gun I'd want to use for this, but it's the skills to blend in. It's the skills to work your way into a crowd. It's your skills to talk to people. Can you talk to people? Can you have a conversation? Are you able to to meet someone and have them trust you in a couple of minutes of talking? Or are you inept to do that?
And skills knowing when to act and when not to act, and
Yeah, there's gonna be a time when there's just you gotta walk away, right?
yeah,
What's the guy? Jocko talks
Yep.
about his best option is to run away from a fight.
Yep.
His best option. It ensures his
Abso-freaking-lutely.
safety. Yeah, don't think you're just gonna be Boss Hoss walking around punching people like Snake Plissken. All right, if you know you
'Cause-
watch, my boy Snake was running a lot of that movie, getting away from stuff. So
Yeah, because
just
you
saying.
have to think in a fight, one lucky shot, and you're gone.
Yeah, and if
Uh-huh.
anybody's actually fought, like if you've actually been in real fights as an adult, it's not. I don't think you're gonna take on 10 dudes, like some kind of like Hollywood guy.
I've been shot at before, and I even had a gun on me when it happened, right? Do you know what I did? I hit the fucking deck.
Yeah, because you don't know where it's coming from.
Right. Well, they weren't just shooting at me. I was inside of a building. They were shooting into the windows, right? And it was like an employee of the place that they were trying to get or whatever,
Mhm.
So like they weren't shooting at me, but like a bullet could have hit me. And like I wasn't gonna fucking Rambo like grab my fucking gun from my CCW pocket area and like run outside and like fucking just, like handle the situation. No, I was on the ground and like waiting for bullets to stop whizzing by. Sorry, like I'm not Rambo.
Yep, just like everyone else.
But yeah, I mean, and then another point is like, yeah, I've got like all these guns, blah blah blah. You've got all these guns. Everyone's got all these guns. How many guns can you carry?
Yeah, that's a super good one. You could carry 2, maybe 3.
Maybe 3.
Three's pushing it. I've carried 2 hunting, and I'll tell you what, I got tired of carrying 2 guns.
Yep.
Because I'll take like a slug gun, and then you can hunt in the same area with a muzzle loader. So if I'm sitting, I will take my slug gun, and then I'll take a muzzle loader in case it's further out, and that gets tiring. So you ain't carrying no more than 2-3 guns. That's a max. I'm talking. That's including a pistol on your hip. Maybe 2 guns. 3 guns is a dream. You ain't carrying 3 guns.
Nah, you can carry 3, 2 pistols and a rifle over your back.
Okay, you're not carrying any more than 1 pistol and a rifle. You can carry a couple more pistols, I guess. But the fantasy of
Yeah, but
carrying multiple long guns.
Whenever it comes to long guns, 1, 2, possibly if it's a really short stint, or if you're just carrying rifles, you're not going to be carrying ammunition with it.
And the
Well, I
ability
mean, like
to
if you have like an AR-15, and Duke, if I have an AR-15 and Duke has a pistol, and we're 100 yards away from each other, who's going to win?
AR-15.
Every time, almost every time. Sure, like lucky
I
shot,
was
like
gonna say
fucking,
almost,
like
yeah.
Jerry Mikulik down range or something. Okay, maybe, Other than that, though, like, sorry, Duke, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Meaning to me, like that second gun, if it's a handgun, in that case, you're more likely to not use it. But if you're carrying around a long gun in like some post-apocalyptic freaking, whatever fill in the movie blank fucking area scenario,
Yeah.
carrying around a long gun is going to make you a target.
See, that's true. And that's a whole other thing about this whole. I mean, if stuff does go down, you really want to be running out there looking like John Rambo, with all the gear and tactical. Like 10 dudes will grab you and beat you to death.
and take your
Mhm.
shit, and then use it to go rob your house and do terrible things to people that you care about. You know?
Well, see, that's why. Yeah,
In apocalyptic time, I'm not carrying any freaking ID that has my address on it.
that's true.
Because if I would happen to get killed, I don't want my loved ones to be like, oh crap, you know.
Well, that's why you don't
Stuff
defend your
away.
house from your fucking mailbox too.
Yep.
And that's where a lot of people get around. They think they're just going to roof Korean their way through the apocalypse, and it's like that only works for a certain situation, you know.
Well, that's okay, and that brings you to the lone man theory. You ain't doing this alone.
Nope.
You better have a bunch of people. You go stay up 24 hours a day, watch your stuff. No, you won't.
That's when like having a bunch of guns makes sense, though. Because you're like, okay, like apartment complex, hear me.
I am your leader. Feel before needed. That's where family and friends you can trust.
Right.
So-
people.
So that's the thing with me and like knowing a lot of people up here that shoot in USPSA and stuff. Like up in the KC area, we have a lot of good shooters. Like there's about 12 of us that if we get together, I would be very
Jesus Christ.
sorry for whoever comes around. And we got some shit.
I don't mind motorcycles, but that's ridiculous. Did you guys hear that?
Yes.
Yeah, we heard it.
I whine.
Dude, he just revved a fucking ZX10 like all the way through. Tara Smith dropped in $5. At E85 is at $2.49 per gallon, 17 miles per gallon. Regular's $2.69 per gallon. You get 19 miles per gallon. Premium is $3.13 per gallon, and you get 22 miles per gallon. Oh, they're coming back. Fuck, God bless America. So yeah, it all equals 14.6 CPM.
That
14
that
cents.
must be. Is that combination city or is that road? I mean, the 22.
That's got to be average.
Well, I mean, no, the 22 miles per gallon, the 5.0 with 10 speed. That almost has to be road. Because I have a F-150 with the 6-speed auto and the 5.0, and I can get 20 on the interstate.
No, I think she's driving a 18-wheeler.
No, it just says F-150 5.0 10-speed auto at the very end.
Oh. Well, that shows what I know. Like,
I mean, you just didn't finish reading. So,
true. I usually just get the mid-grade. I get, like, there's 85, there's 87, there's 89, and there's 91. I usually go for the 87.
87 is what the majority of the vehicles are made to run off of and be their most optimal.
I have to run 91.
And some cars are
At
like
least.
that too, because you have a higher compression ratio.
Yep.
I don't know. There's this
Do you
one
have a
gas
turbo
station.
sitting on it, or
There's this one
Yeah,
gas station
turbo.
that has 93, and I would ride my motorcycle over there and get 93 sometimes.
Yeah.
Dude, you can feel there's a significant difference in power.
here in KC it's 87, 91, 93. That's how it is pretty much everywhere in the Midwest.
Yeah, I wish we had 93 out here. Down here in the west, you can't get it.
Like, there's literally one gas station in Colorado where you can get it, and it's like, I don't know, 30 minutes away from where I live right now. So it's not inaccessible, but it's not convenient. You burn half a tank of gas just getting there on a motorcycle, you know. But it's nice to have the option.
I do miss the motorcycle. If I was easy on the accelerator, I could get like 50 miles a gallon off out of my 1100.
I had a Ninja 500 that I'd get like 60 miles to the gallon if I was careful. Like sometimes I'd see how long I could get because it held. It was like a 3.9 gallon tank, like 4 gallon tank, and I'd get almost 200 miles out of one tank if I was doing all highway and I was doing it right before I'd have to switch to the reserve. It was like 180 miles or something.
If this is on my 1100 V-Star cruiser, if I would cruise at 55 miles a gallon, I would get damn near 60, and I freaking loved it. On my sport bike, 25 is the top.
It all depends on how you ride it. I mean, even like a inline 4 sport bike, you can shift quickly. You know what I mean? Just always stay in the lower revs.
Yeah, I had a 600, and I mean, I always stayed 4, 5, 6 grand in there when I was trying to be nice and soft.
Yeah, but they revved to like 16,000. So
yeah, exactly.
Jesus Christ, Lead on Steel has 110 at his local gas station.
It depending. If it is a big racing area, 100, 110 is definitely a thing.
Like 110, isn't that like jet fuel?
No. Like what 100 is like what piston engine planes run off of.
Yeah, there's back home in PA. There's like one gas station that has 100, but it's because it's like right near like a big racing area. It's the only one in like probably about a 50-mile radius or something.
Yeah, 100 is aviation gasoline. I don't know what 110 is.
Jets don't even use gasoline, do they? Or do they?
They use jet fuel.
Well, yeah, but is that like just more refined gasoline?
I think so. I don't know what the octane rating or anything of it is.
I think they use virgin blood, if I'm not corrected.
Mixed with high octane semen to give it that extra blow.
Piston aviation fuel.
Which leads to stealth technology.
That's what I thought. Jet fuel is kerosene. That's what I thought.
That makes sense.
No, it carries semen.
That is true. Some jet fuel definitely does.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Oh, I do remember that from 9/11 stuff. That jet fuel, which is basically kerosene, burns at 1200 degrees or whatever. Blah blah blah. Yeah, okay. Ghost Shadow says jet fuel is kerosene or diesel. Well, there we go. We solved that mystery on the Gay Frog Chat today. What is jet fuel?
The more you know.
So do you guys answer the door when people come knocking on your door when you didn't order a pizza?
Well, see, that's the weird thing, right? Nobody comes to people's door unannounced. We have technology. But even if my neighbor comes over, like he's going to text, like, hey, I'm coming over. Nobody just comes over unannounced. I think we talked about the other day. Only people come to my house unannounced, like the Boy Scouts, when they drop off their yellow bags like twice a year to fill up with pop cans and stuff.
Well, my father still does it. Comes unannounced.
Yeah. It's old school. I mean, it's considered old school, right?
Right.
But even then, like, if I get a knock at the door, even if I'm expecting someone, I never just open the door without looking through and checking to see who it is.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes my kids will open the door.
Because I'm always worried it's going to be the Terminator. He's coming to kill me because I'm going to be something cool in the future.
Yeah, because you're going to be like one of the generals, dude.
Yeah, like I got to be General Duke in the future. You know?
No, it's going to be Little Duke. But if he kills you now, he's going to screw up Little Duke, and then Little Duke will never grow up to lead the future army.
That's what's up. See, that's what I told my wife, and she just told me that's not reality. And I told her, shut up. And then I got in trouble because I said shut up out loud. I'm not allowed to say that.
Well, see, I don't have that problem because I'm willing to give in to my robot overlords. So I don't have to have nobody coming back for me in a back to the past.
So E85 is 85% ethanol, which I knew, but it's 105 to 109 octane.
Is Tara a trucker?
I believe so.
Well, that's cool.
She's a shrimp boat captain.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Shrimp burgers, shrimp salad, shrimp sandwich.
Boom Jumbo.
Bob. Now I want some shrimp.
I do too, actually. I'm fucking starving right now.
Be a crazy place to be. You're in the
My next door neighbor brought me
is on the road.
gumbo tonight.
He brought you a
And I already
bathroom?
ate. No?
Today I ate pizza rolls, taco bites.
Yo, that's what's up. Pizza rolls.
Yeah.
Chicken mac and cheese and beans, because I don't know. I didn't want to go
All
shopping.
together or separate?
I mean, in the end,
Fair enough.
Joy Savoy says, I'm a propane truck driver in Texas, of all places. I get King of the Hill lines all day.
Can only imagine.
What am I going to do with all this propane?
Oh,
Oh,
damn it, Bobby.
stop whacking it in my shed.
Have a narrow urethra.
What's funny is the voice from Hank Hill is almost the same voice from Beavis and Butthead as the old guy with the shed.
Yep.
I mean, obviously it's done by the exact same person, so that makes sense. But
Right.
I like his dad. Hank Hill's dad talking about war
Cotton.
stories. Yeah.
Cotton was a badass motherfucker. I mean, he did get his shins blown off. And they attached his feet to his knees. And he just kept going like nothing, you know? Like, it takes a hell of an American to do that. And he just slaps his wife Debbie on the ass all the time, or whatever her name is.
I like the Indian guy.
Doesn't take care of Hank Jr.
Because he's fucking Dale Dribble's wife.
Yeah. That's super funny.
And he's
John Redcorn.
And he's completely suspicious of everything all of the time,
Yeah.
except for his wife.
Yeah. John Redcorn.
Now you know Nancy can't do no wrong.
Shit, does that make me Dale Dribble?
I don't know. Did you ever get a DNA test for your kids?
Fuck me.
And then that one dude died, Bucky. Who died?
Yeah.
Luann's boyfriend died. He kept coming back as an angel all the time.
It's been a long time since I've watched like regular TV, and that was one show that I watched back in the day that like everyone watched. You know, it's been a long time since there was something like that just like everybody watched, except for arguably Game of Thrones or something like that. But that was more of like a new age phenomenon, and not even everyone watched it. You know, but a lot of people did. It's just
Seinfeld?
different. Yeah, like Seinfeld, for instance. Like everyone watched Seinfeld. Everyone watched Friends.
MASH?
Everyone watched, you know, like
I didn't watch Friends.
Yeah,
I watched
didn't watch
Friends on
either.
Syndicate.
My mom loves Friends.
or like Frasier, right? Or fucking Cheers, or go back even further, like fucking
MASH.
MASH. Thank you. So now there's no cultural phenomenon that just sort of happens as a virtue of we all have TVs and go home at the end of work.
It does happen. It happens smaller and for shorter times, like How to Make a Murderer. Everybody watched that, and then like Tiger King.
I was
Everybody
going to say
watched
Tiger
that.
King.
So like it happens, but it's like sparks instead of like a fire.
Well, you got to think too. Back in the day, they only had 3 channels.
True.
I remember coming to school, and you would quote some Bart Simpson line from the episode the night before, and instantly you were popular. And everyone laughed at your joke because
Yep.
they all got it because
My
they watched
shorts.
the same thing. Like now you go home or you go to work or whatever, and you like say some joke from the gay frog chat about blues and bubblegums or something, and no one knows what the fuck you're talking about, even on the chat sometimes. Everyone did watch Walking Dead for a while. That's a good point there, Jew hater. I mean, Mark Malone.
So I still watch Walking Dead.
I
think it's
can't
only
watch
one.
it anymore. Oh,
What do you say?
I just can't watch it anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's been since like season 5 or something like that I was just like, this is okay. It's ridiculous now. This is stupid.
I think there's one more season left, so I'm guessing everybody will probably tune in for that.
Yeah, they're gonna split it into 2 years.
Oh Jesus!
I've been
Nah,
here
man,
the
they
whole
gonna
time. I'm gonna watch it all the way through. I'm just saying that right now.
Oh man, why drag it out? Jesus, just give us all in 1 year.
I'm pretty much okay going to my grave and never coming back to watch it. See what I did there? See what I did?
Yeah.
What gun are you guys holding right now? I know
None.
everyone got one.
No good.
I've got my little Heritage Rough Rider barkeep.
I mean, the gun I have closest to me is the Bodyguard 380.
Glock 22.
Your work. I mean, yeah, that gun works. Sorry.
Here's my gun. It works. Got me a little TLR1 light on
nice.
it.
Nice,
So-
nice. How much did that cost?
I think my wife thinks I asked her to get ordered off the internets for me. I think it was like 110.
That's not bad. I don't know. I went to Cabela's to look at some shit, and they had weapons lights, and I'm like, yeah, I could use a weapon light. Let me see what they got. They didn't have anything like less than $200, dude.
I hate that. Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, thank you. Like, I'm pretty sure you can make a flashlight that works for less than $200, but maybe call me crazy. I don't know.
Yeah. I want to get one for my shotgun. Anybody know any good mounts for a Mossberg 88 security?
I had a little cheapo, like, it was like a clamp-on thing that
I'm
clamps
cool
onto
with
the barrel or the tube magazine, you know? And it worked for a while, and then one day I was shooting it, and all of a sudden, like, the light fell off because the mount broke. So
no.
if you're going to get something like that, make sure it's made out of good solid steel, not aluminum, like that kind of thing. That's
Yeah.
what I would say. If it was made out of steel, I'm sure it would have been fine, but it was aluminum. And it had a little plastic insert in it so that it could fit different kinds of tubes. That was the other thing. Like, if it was correct to the size that it should have been, even if it was only aluminum, it probably still would have worked. But that little plastic insert piece is the thing that broke, so it came off. Got another super chat. Thank you. Mr. Raw Feeding 101 asks, what are the prices of Freedom Seeds like? Haven't looked in 6 months at least. They've actually come down quite a bit. I found some Tula 223. It was like 1,000 rounds for $350. And then it was like $60, $70 for shipping. So really like $430. But yeah, those are on the way because I needed some of those Freedom Seeds. I don't know. That's almost normal price. It's not quite there yet, though. Because it used to be like you'd find them for like $299, $325 free shipping. But now it's like $350 plus shipping. So I don't know. I still haven't found 9mm for very cheap anywhere.
Nope.
Who was the comedian who was saying like they just need to make bullets like $5,000?
Chris Rock.
Chris
Yeah,
Rock.
they're just taking Chris Rock's advice. I think is what they're doing here.
I'm gonna get a job, extra job.
Guess everybody's seen that stand up.
It's in Bowling for Columbine.
Bowling for Columbine.
You've seen that, right?
I've specifically never seen that.
I've seen it.
I don't know. Like I grew up in Colorado. I was in high school at the time that Columbine happened at a school in Colorado. We got Columbine shoved down our throats so hard. By the time that movie came out, I didn't want to watch it just by the virtue of the name.
It has. How do I say this? It does emphasize that, but much of the movie is not that, and worth watching, in my opinion. And would not. I don't think it would. It's not.
Well, plus there's the cheeseburger eater who fucking made it.
Uh huh. I get it. I watch. I want to be on both. I want to see what the other side thinks. So I have watched it before.
I mean, actually, if you want to go on a whole tirade about that one, that piece of shit Michael Moore is the exact reason why Kmart stopped selling ammunition and put him out of business permanently because of that.
Yeah, if Kmart still sold ammunition, I'd go to Kmart. Ain't no other reason to go to Kmart.
Some Walmart still sell guns, right?
Yeah, mine does.
Not in my area.
It depends on the area, but yeah, there's like a couple hundred stores I think that still sell them.
Dude, they don't even sell fucking like most kinds of ammo. Like they'll have like 22, they'll have like weird shit like 6.5 or like I don't know 7mm Remington Magnum or something weird, and then they'll have 308 and like some other normal stuff, but they'll never have 5.56 or 223 or 7.62 39 or 5.45 39 or like anything like that.
Well, they took this off the
Or
shelves
9mm
after,
or 45 or like any of the handgun ammo, just 22 and like big shit, and then shotgun.
yeah, they took this all those ones off the shelves after El Paso happened a couple years ago.
Did he buy his ammo at Walmart?
It was apparently Walmart and Bloomberg were jerking each other off basically, and yeah, it was because of that shit that they basically took out 9mm and everything else like that.
I don't know. I could see like Walmart doing it if like they were like, okay, this guy came in with a gun with no ammunition at all, went up to the counter, like bought some ammunition, and then loaded his gun and started blasting people in the store. I'd be like, oh, fuck me. Like, I guess we're not going to sell that anymore. Like, that kind of makes sense. For them to be like, hey, this random shooting thing happened, and since we sell ammunition and he used a gun, we're going to stop selling ammunition. Like, that seems a step too far.
You can still buy a machete, hack your way through people, but
you can buy a fucking crossbow. Would you rather get shot with a bullet or a crossbow bolt with fucking like razor spines on it and shit? It's not about, the item. It's about the intent and who's using it and what they're using it for.
But
if I'm carrying a sword, then I'd rather get shot by a crossbow. But if I'm not carrying a
seems more
sword,
historically accurate.
yeah, then
look up Jack Churchill sometime. He's the only guy confirmed killed
with a longbow.
He killed Nazis with a longbow, and there's a picture.
A claymore.
There's a picture of him getting off a Higgins boat, Higgins landing boat in D-Day, and he's charging the beach with a sword.
Yeah, he charged.
Yeah,
the
I've
beach.
seen that. I've seen that.
Yeah, playing bagpipes with a sword, like.
Yeah, and he did an ambush where he was the first dude. And he's like, "Don't shoot till I do," and he had a longbow. Yeah. Can you imagine? You're some German and you're fighting in World War II. You just get shot in the chest with an arrow.
Yeah, just walking around with your MP40, and all of a sudden you catch an arrow to the throat, and the reactions of everyone else in your squad, like, what the fuck?
How terrified they had to be.
So apparently in England, the N-word is trending today.
Oh,
Because I don't know why.
What?
I don't know. And here's a little Cuba action going on. Imagine this in America, except for like 2/3 of them are carrying a AR-15.
Well, I think it'd be a lot like the beginning of Black Summer, right? Everybody running around shooting each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. You get a big crowd of unruly people with guns.
It's not the place to be.
Chances are someone's going to start shooting. Chances are everyone's going to start shooting.
yeah, that first
Chances
episode
are you're
of Black
going to get
Summer.
shot.
Yeah, that first episode of Black Summer was crazy.
Yeah. And here's the thing about guns and firefights and cities is it's not like the movies where you automatically know where the fire's coming from. It could be coming from behind you, be coming right beside you, and you might not even realize it because you're too busy scraping the blood off your partner's face who's right next to you. So I'm just saying.
People fighting in Piccadilly. This is in England. Jolly old. Where's Jolly speaking of? Right then, how do you do, good mate?
Jolly's
Oh
the dude
shoot,
in the
Modern
bag right there.
Warfare, Piccadilly.
Okay.
They're hugging it out. Look at them. They're hugging.
No, totally. Look to the right. Think Modern Warfare.
Yeah,
And then think Piccadilly. You ran around this thing. You climbed
Yeah.
up on top of this and gone in this window and gone up here and shot people down in the square from Piccadilly. Modern Warfare. Oh, that's good. That's good. Good call. Good call on that one. January 6 defendants are being denied access to family, lawyers, and evidence that could free them. Guards are beating them up. One was stripped naked as guards leered. What does that mean? Just like looked at him and laughed or something?
what?
Yeah, looking at them creepily.
Judges are denying them their speedy trial rights. Washington, D.C. is no different from Cuba regime. Retweet. I really like Mike Cernovich. If you guys don't follow Mike Cernovich or know who that is, trust me, you need to.
He's a happy dog.
Oh, that's great. I think he doesn't even know what to do. So what's up? What's good? What do you guys got? Anything you want to talk about? I went through a whole bunch of things. There were so many things.
Would you say there was stuff and things?
I would say some people did some things.
Actually, going what we were talking about a few minutes ago, do you guys carry 350 Legend in your Walmarts or not?
Maybe.
I've seen
I
it
have no
around
fucking
a lot because no one fucking has a gun that shoots it. And they produced a whole bunch of it and they put it on the shelves everywhere, but no one buys it. So everyone's like, whoa, they got 350 Legend everywhere. But the thing is, if anyone in any number started buying 350 Legend because they saw ammunition on the shelves, instantly that ammo would be gone and it wouldn't be coming back for a while. Because they're more concerned about producing other things. It's more just like they had it produced, and since no one had a gun that shot it, not no one, but not enough people, you know. It was too new of a fucking round. But just new enough where they had it on the shelf in number, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's not cheap either, really. 350 Legend's not a cheap round to buy even if they do have it.
See the grey nurses jump.
Shark Week. Filled with thousands of sharp teeth. Just amazing. Look at this predator. But luckily they got to eat only small fish and crustaceans from the sea floor. It's a shark fest.
Man, I hate when seaweed touches my feet.
Yep.
Okay, this one's from Mark Malone. Jewish 17-year-old Talib Rab details her experience of being physically assaulted and recently violated and receiving violent threats from around the world for hosting a pro-Israel march in her hometown. That seems like Jewish supremacy to me, doesn't it, Malone?
Yeah, we can't have that.
Because, I mean, if you just, speak out and say something positive about that, then all of a sudden you get attacks and threats and people trying to dox you. And
I'm assuming this is from Cuba.
Yeah.
Cuba.
Think
How do
about
they
how
all have
many
cell
generations. Think about how many generations there have grown up underneath a communist regime now.
how do they all have cell phones?
Those are Obama phones. So
Yep.
And I said they have American flags too. And it's funny how they're not offended by the American flag as they're marching for freedom down their streets against their government. Strange.
I just want
just
to see
like in
one of
Hong
them with
Kong.
an. I just want to see one of them with an up armored like '57 Chevy with a tractor motor in it.
Powerful image south of Havana in Bejucal, the township brings out a La Virgen de la Ciudad, the patroness of Cuba, as people shout, "Liberty, liberty, liberty."
Liberty, liberty, liberty.
Liberty.
This whole revolution is backed by the language.
Liberty's like, get somebody down there, record it. We gotta get him saying our name.
Championship game today, England versus Italy. England lost in penalty shootout. 3 out of 5 people on the squad missed. The 3 people were... I don't know why that's relevant.
Yeah, either do I.
Okay.
I just like the memes that... Yeah, not kind of. Pretty damn. I just love the memes coming out of it. Like, it's basically everyone's just picking on England, and one of them I saw was like, "Damn it, England just cannot win in July."
Ooh, yeah, I got that.
Okay, wait, take a minute.
That's ketchup. That's ketchup. Sriracha. Really spicy burrito.
Oh, here we go. We got 1941 on the left, 2021 on the right.
Show me your papers.
Papers.
Papers, please. I see nothing.
Every time I hear like someone do the whole like, "I need to see your papers," I just think of Arnold in True Lies when he's like, "Oh yeah, here's my invitation."
I'm looking at Google Images of Piccadilly.
Shouting freedom and other anti-government slogans. Hundreds of Cubans look to the streets and cities around the country on Sunday to protest food and medicine shortages and a remarkable eruption of disorderment not seen in nearly 30 years. And then this guy replies, "Yes, bitch, freedom is an anti-government slogan."
So I actually saw an interesting article on Yahoo today. It was actually right after I
retweeted. Oh, sorry, my bad.
Oh,
you're all good.
Yeah.
It was right after they had posted an article about the whole Colorado thing that you had mentioned earlier. And it was talking about the spike in gun sales from last year. And it was stating how, like, even anti-gunners were buying guns. And it had, like, a couple examples of, like, this woman here that used to be super anti-gun decided to buy a gun last year when she saw police marching down the streets with long rifles. And it's like, at least they're starting to get the idea. The spirit's there, you know. The execution needs a little work, but...
So do you think the Iraqis were happier under Saddam Hussein or now, after, like, 500,000 people have been killed in that country by us?
Depends on the tribe.
Yeah, it depends who. because there's certain tribes that are much happier now because they were more oppressed under Saddam. But then there's others that are. It really depends who.
El Carnal Garcia says that's why people are being racist on Twitter. So I think he was just quoting what they were saying on Twitter. That
Oh, gotcha.
yeah. Not that he was just
Fuck Saddam. Fuck his sons.
I was talking to one of my cousins years ago. He was in the Marines in like the early 90s, and he has a bunch of buddies who still are. And they were talking about how before Saddam's death, he actually was the only linchpin that kept the Middle East together. And that's why we've seen so much uprising since then.
Yep. Because it was a balance of power that we threw off balance by taking one of the pillars that was holding the building up. You know what I mean? Like, it's a shitty building that, sometimes a little bit of it collapsed and killed some people, and some other people didn't get to live very well inside of it and shit like that. But at least it, stood. And then we took out that pillar, and, yeah, he was a bad person, and he did some bad things, and, I'm not saying what we should have done, but I'm saying here's what happened. We took out fucking Saddam, and because of that, then Iran and Afghanistan and all these other countries are like, well, there's a power vacuum. Let's see what we can do to fill it and grab it power. And then we had to, as American troops, defend the things that, fill the power gap to some extent in some areas and secure oil fields rather than museums and people's lives and cities and shit like that. But that's, again, I'm not saying what we should have done. Here's just what we did. What do you know about these Savage Arms 320s? 12 gauge shotgun, 5+1, cheaper than a Maverick 88.
No,
Yeah.
I did a Maverick 88. I hated it. I have one. It's a piece of junk. I traded it as part of another trade, and I was glad I got rid of it. Don't even waste your money. Spend the
Just
money on
didn't
musket.
cycle well, or what was the issue with
Didn't
it?
cycle well. It felt cheap. It just wasn't. It was shot. It was put together poorly. Save your money, and a Maverick 88 is like $250, $200.
Yeah, it's not that much more.
Like,
Yeah.
a Maverick 88 is a great shotgun.
Yeah.
So I don't any of those guns. I think
I've been debating on buying another shotgun actually, because I only have one right now.
I only have two.
Not like I
I only
need one,
have
not
zero.
like it's the most practical gun, but I just kind of want a second one.
Well, I got this one, the security, the Maverick 88 security.
Yeah, that's the one to get.
That's the one. It's got an extended tube on it.
Yeah.
Yes, the 18.5-inch barrel, right?
Yeah, it's got the shorter barrel. It's got the longer tube. That's the one you want.
Yeah, and it's got a stock on it, and I love it. And it's OD green or whatever, tan. It's awesome.
Wait. Are we the baddies? No, we cannot be the baddies. We are the Germans.
Wait, did Night Strike change his
Wait, what is that
outfit
on your
again?
hat? What is that on your helmet? Is that a skull and cross? We are the baddies. Oh, no.
But
Yeah,
skulls, white skulls.
Yeah, Night Strike changed his outfit again. Jesus.
He's always getting promoted
Yeah.
every week. You know him. He gives up all the good information of all.
Gotta
the
love his
hiding
work
places.
ethic.
Yeah.
Oh, why are they tipping?
It's a police car.
Oh, good for them.
I mean, they
Oh, that's like a baby police car. It's like a Volkswagen Beetle.
It's like a police car had a baby with like a Prius and a police car made a baby together.
It's like they didn't have enough money for police cars, so they got a bunch of Fisher-Price cars and just painted them green and gray.
Well, have you seen the taxis in Cuba? They're like leftover cars from the 1950s
40s
and
and
60s.
50s.
Well, it's because we had the restrictions on them for so
Right.
long, so they
And they
couldn't get
just like
vehicles.
figured it the catalytic converter's gone. All right, just saw around it and we'll make a new thing. Oh, the whatever's not working. Okay, let's take apart this lantern and make a new one from.
Yeah,
fucking
you gotta
parts.
give them props for their ingenuity. Like, I was partly joking when I said a '57 Chevy with a tractor motor in it, but there's legitimate cars down there that they're like, the motor is blown in this car. Here's a boat motor. Fucking make it work.
Yep.
Right. Plus, they're on an island. They don't have to go too far.
Yeah.
China prepares to move in Afghanistan with 62 billion Belt and Road initiatives as American troops leave.
This should be interesting.
The Taliban regards China as a friend of Afghanistan and hopes to speak with Beijing about investing in reconstruction work as soon as possible, according to blah, 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 blah.
But that takes the fun out of it.
We welcome them if they want to. If they have investments, of course, we ensure their safety. Their safety is very first and important to us, the Taliban spokesman said. As American troops prepare to withdraw from Afghanistan, China is preparing to go in and fill the void left by departing U.S. NATO troops. With its Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, China is poised to make an exclusive entry into post-U.S. Afghanistan, according to reports. Kabul authorities are intensifying their engagement with China over an extension of the $62 billion China-Pakistan economic corridor, the BRI's flagship project. According to the international media, the project involves the construction of highways, railways, and energy pipelines between Pakistan and China to Afghanistan. American troops left Afghanistan's main and final U.S. military base Friday, while the initial withdrawal date was set for September 11th. Why do they always do things on September 11th? Fuck you. Security officials told British newspaper that the majority of troops would be out by July 4th. With one of the specific projects on the table, according to another source privy to conversations between Beijing and Kabul, is the construction of a China-backed major road between Afghanistan and Pakistan, northwest of Peshawar, which is already linked with the CPEC route. There is a discussion of a Peshawar-Kabul motorway between the authorities of Kabul and Beijing. So they just want to build roads from terrorism to China. I'm sure that's going to work out, China. In other words, Afghanistan government is welcoming China immediately after bidding farewell to America. China has long wanted to expand its Belt and Road Initiative to Afghanistan and been pleading with Kabul to do so for at least a decade. However, the U.S.-backed Afghanistan government was hesitant to join the BRI for fear of upsetting Washington. Oh, shit. We got a $5 super chat from Tara. Oh, good.
I was just going to say, they've been doing shit like this. Obviously not in Afghanistan, but in third world countries across the world for years. Like a bunch of countries down in Africa, like anywhere in South America also, anywhere where China sees that there's resources, they come in, they're like, hey, we'll build your roads and infrastructure and telecommunications and all this great shit for you. Just give us access to all this stuff. I guarantee that's what's happening here.
Terry says, I hate to say it, but I've gotten to where I usually carry my G26. I love my 1911s and SIGs, but the 26 is convenient. I feel ashamed.
You should. The 26 is great. I don't see why.
I've got a 642 that would be a nice carry gun that's super light and convenient, but I end up carrying my fucking Taurus single stack more than anything. Duke! Duke!
I do the same, but mainly because it's hot as balls out right now. I end up carrying my LCP 99% of the time. But it's just because it's convenient, because I can throw it in like a basketball short pocket or something like that. Like I don't.
Yeah. Duke, are you awake?
Yeah.
I read an article and I put you to sleep. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Apparently, we got to move on from China, Afghanistan. China-Afghanistan.
Could always go to China, South Africa, because they've been taking that place over forever as well.
Or as I call it, Far West Taiwan. Oh my God.
See, you start mentioning China and he just goes right to sleep. You gotta stop mentioning.
I think that's
China.
like if he was a government, MK
that's his shutdown word.
Yeah, that's his MK Ultra like activation word is China.
This is true.
China.
See, it turns them on and off. It works both ways. That's hilarious. All right, well, we've been going about an hour and a half now, and I'm running out of things, so we're going to go ahead and wind it down now, if y'all don't mind. I do appreciate everyone out there for showing up for the chat tonight. Everyone who's watching, don't forget to give a thumbs up. Share this around if you want to. Give it a share. That way we can grow the channel a little bit, because I feel like I'm getting super shadow banned lately. The growth on the channel has come to a complete standstill stop. I think possibly because I've been working a lot lately and I don't really have, like, I don't know. I feel like my shows have been lacking a little bit lately, perhaps. Maybe that's my fault, but if you guys enjoyed tonight's show, I encourage you to share it around to somebody who might enjoy it. And otherwise, have a beautiful night, everybody. I may or may not be around for the Guns and Geeks podcast tomorrow night, but I'll let you know how that goes, and we'll see you next time. You guys got anything before we go? All right.
Plus, hit the like button on it too.
Hey, what, huh?
I said also hit that like button to get the ratio up.
Yep, got to get that algorithm going.
Algorithm-y, bitch. All right, guys. Well, have a good night. I'll see you next time. Peace out. Deuces.